Hello everyone, it's me Varus, and in this video I'm going to give you a full tropical update, especially on the Atlantic, as very active times seem to be ahead. I'm going to give you more analysis, what's to come, etc. So let's get right into it. So, starting off with imagery on our Atlantic tropical basin, we have our main development region right here, our Caribbean right here, and our Gulf right here, and then our nice Atlantic up to the north. So, let's talk about some notable features. So, starting way out west, we have our first feature, which is right here. Let's get a better pen, better color, right there in yellow. This one, it doesn't have the highest chance of forming, but as long as it stays off coast, we could see a small little disturbance that brings minor impacts. Another disturbance right here, right now off the Lesser Antilles. This one has the biggest chance of becoming something as it continues into the Caribbean. And then one more nice wave back here that also has a chance of something as it continues. And then we also have some activity right here. Here, let's do a different color right here. So those are some notable features to watch out for. So starting out at the National Hurricane Center's outlook. So we first have our system off the Gulf. Okay, this one has a 20% chance in the next 7 days, 10% in the next 48 hours. So the National Hurricane Center does know as long as it stays off the coast and in these nice, warm, favorable waters, then it will kind of develop a little bit. But if it does get into the coast, then obviously it won't. So simple case right there. Now this system is the one we're watching right now. 40% in the next 7 days, here, and 10% in the next 48 hours. So conducive, slow development is possible, especially as it gets after the Lesser Antilles and like into the main Caribbean. This is where it could really develop, and I mean, there's lots of land over here. Okay, we have land all these little masses over here. We have land, so we have land over here, and eventually, if it gets into the Gulf, watch out. So that's what I'm saying. So this is one we're gonna have to watch for sure. Model guidance has been floppy. Okay, like earlier model guidance had this full out major hurricane powering into the Florida Panhandle. Now it has almost nothing, and I'll show you guys that in a bit. And then we have one more system behind it. 0% in the next 48 hours, 20% in the next 7 days. This is one that could develop, but all models likely take it out to sea. So, I did skip to this earlier by accident, but here we are back again. So here, let's talk about our system. So, let's go about 84 hours out. And you'll have your first wave right here, the 40% one, and it has a couple members, right? You have a signal. It's not anything strong, but it's not the weakest one. And then you have another nice signal behind it with that 20% one that's expected to recurve. Okay, that's a really good one. And you have a very weak signal with the one off the Gulf Coast. But let's go a little farther. Let's go 180 hours out. And here you have it. So things to note with our other system, we see a nice increase in, or not even an increase, we just see more ensembles and good support of something forming here. So we'll likely get a tropical system that forms here, but doesn't really affect anywhere as it recurves extremely early. And then we also have our other real big area to watch, and this here, you see ensemble guidance really start to increase. And you see lots of them right around the Yucatan Peninsula. So that's kind of like the hotspot for possible impacts, Yucatan, but still way too early. But I'm just showing, as you can see, here's our first. So overall, this is our wave, okay? And the thing I circled in yellow, it's not easy to see, let's do blue. The thing I circled in yellow, that is our first signal. Then we see a little break, like a little drop off, and then we see an acceleration of ensembles right after that. So it's kind of interesting to watch. Like, there's support and then almost nothing here, and then really starts to bloom as it gets really into the Caribbean, kind of just south of Haiti, Haiti, I'd say. So that's basically that. So we're gonna keep watching these systems, but overall, just the main two areas we watch. And then you see with that Gulf Coast system, we don't see anything. Let's just take it to 40 hours out for curiosity. But don't let it always get the best of you. So, interesting thing with this one right here. Lots have it recurving, but some actually start bringing it back this way. Okay, and that's also interesting. A kind of unusual track, but... And then you see other ensembles off the coast of Africa for more support. For another wave. And then you have your main wave over here. Here's like an example of one ensemble bringing 934, Cat 5 most likely, into the Florida Panhandle. That's not going to happen. I'm just saying that was one of the that's one of the solutions. But you have to take a look at the main group, as that's just an outlier, as the main group is right around the Yucatan / Mexican coastline. The eastern Mexican coastline. So let's talk about analysis. Let's analyze this tropics, these situations. So first, starting out with wind shear, and we don't see much. So here, let's take a better color. Right here is our main area. We're kind of looking for wind shear. Okay, right in there. Here, let's circle in black. Right in here is where we're looking for wind shear. Not a lot, honestly. But as we continue, you see it gradually increases, especially up near the Gulf Coast, okay? And kind of down here a little bit right off the waves coming off, but that makes sense. And then slightly moderate shear near the Caribbean. So I'm just saying this because not a lot of people are talking about, but wind shear does seem to increase in our area, so that's something to keep in mind. Dry air, Saharan dust, etc. Now, here, let's get to, okay. So, the Saharan dust is still there, okay? As you take a look up here, we still have it, okay? So, any waves that come off more northerly likely won't have any good chances of earlier development. However, if they stay more south on this kind of, you see this like moist stream right here, they can fit in there, then that's good. If the ideal track, given our moisture levels, would be something kind of like that to stay in the most moist environment possible. So overall, just trek it south, okay? For any other southern waves would have better moisture, but either way, you see it coming through, and overall, Saharan dust does stay up to the north. But as long as systems are south of this, it is go time for the season. But that's the only main notable dry air as of now. Now let's get into more graphing, charts, analysis, ocean heat content in the main development region. So this blue is the average, okay? The more ocean heat content is it's like fuel for hurricanes, okay? It's like CAPE for hurricanes, okay? But CAPE is for thunderstorms. So blue is our average, and as you see, it peaks kind of right around, you would say 60, 55-ish, around 55. Okay, 55 kilojoules per centimeter squared. Now take a look at 2024, and we are well above it. Okay, we are at what, 65-ish. Yeah, 65 right now, and that could peak at 70, if not 75. So that's pretty interesting, and so the peak right around here, or something like that. So ocean heat content is something to watch out for, okay? So given this high, really nice high ocean heat content, that could really fuel hurricanes as we get deeper into the season and approaching peak season on September 20th. Now, ocean heat content in the Caribbean, another main area to watch. You also have nice above average heat content. Okay, also way up here, right around 100, almost 110, around 105 right now. Could peak at around 120. Okay, and that's pretty big. So that I'm just saying this because people are already counting off hurricane season. Oh, it got hyped up for no reason. Now, I do think it did get a little hyped up for sure. But I mean, we still have peak ahead of us, and we're still becoming more favorable as I speak. So we're still watching this. We're still seeing what's gonna happen, and we just gotta keep analyzing, especially once we get to peak season, and then as we start dropping off, see what happened, and go from there. So that's the ocean heat content in the Caribbean. This is a great site to use. You can just search up ocean heat content. Now, I also do wanted to do to the Gulf of Mexico. I'm just kind of doing this right on the fly. Here we have our ocean heat content in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, another main area we have to watch out for. Now, look at this. I mean, this peak, whew, almost to 90, almost, okay, just under kilojoules per centimeter squared. So that's impressive. Now we have had this recent drop off almost back to 80, but I do expect one more little spike before we start dropping off again. So let's see what happens. We could spike maybe up to 90 with these conditions. We'll see what happens. So last thing I want to talk about, MJO. I've been talking about this in my other videos. Very, very big pattern to talk about. And as you see, why aren't we having that much activity? Now, yes, we're starting to see more activity, but I mean, ensembles are back and forth. Why? Because we have a very unfavorable pattern. We have sinking air, okay? Sinking air is these drier colors. Rising air is these greener, more wetter, like looking colors. So that tells us that sinking air, it doesn't provide ventilation. It doesn't provide energy. Doesn't cause the system to really strengthen in the tropics. It does the opposite of that. It doesn't provide enhancement, and therefore that's what's preventing tropical development. Now, once we get, I've been talking about this, to mid-September, like especially starting September 20th and onwards, it gets favorable, and that's the time frame to watch. Okay, kind of mid-September, mid-late September on into mid-October, we could really watch. Okay, that's what's really going to become favorable. But for the next 4 or 5 weeks, it does look a little unfavorable for that. I like the next 4 weeks. So we'll have to see what happens in response to that. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys right back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.